How's it going, my fellow Homo sapiens? It's your boy, YuGiOh, and it's time for that Monarch hype train. That's right. So this is my Monarch deck profile and conversation. So let's hop right into it. The Monarch hype train is here. So I had to go ahead and pick up a few of these decks, man. Oh man, oh man. So the main reason I hopped on this bandwagon in the beginning, because usually I don't hop on a bandwagon, I do my own thing, but I'm going to be honest, this semester in Yu-Gi-Oh, I haven't been doing too hot. I mean, Pepe was just grinding me into the ground. That was just my toughest matchup. I mean, I had a little bit of competition with the spellcasters, but it wasn't as much as Pepe. That was the only deck that was stopping me from winning the tournaments. I mean, yeah, you could say I'm a little greedy, but I really don't care too much for topping. I really want to win the tournament itself. The bragging rights, the tournament cred, you might say. So, I went ahead and I was like, well, since I had all the Monarch's extra cards on the side, and I had a lot of store credit, I went ahead to use my store credit to pick up the structure decks. And then I had the rest of the cards already in the book, so I didn't have to pay anything. The most I spent on this deck was $5 because I had to buy some brand new sleeves. But a few days ago, Konami comes out and literally just slaughters Pepe, just destroys them. And I'm like, oh my god, you know, I done built this deck, I'm ready for it, I'm ready to play it. And then Konami comes out of nowhere, slaughters Pepe, and it's like, do I still really want to play Monarchs? So, to be honest, I really feel comfortable with Match Inspectors. I love Match Inspectors. I love how they feel when I play them. I love summoning a monster and not really have to worry about my opponent's back row. But then again, we have Monarchs that's really, really powerful in this meta this time and has some really, really good consistencies with the deck itself. Now, here you can get a lot of brick hands. So, over the weekend, I thought to myself, since I'm going to do a deck profile, maybe I should play it in the tournament and see how it works before actually sitting down and doing the deck profile and talking about it. So I went to my tournament over the weekend and went undefeated. Yes, I went to my tournament and just went in. This went ham. So it was great, I'm going to be honest. First match, I don't remember what the match was, but it was a quick 2-0. The second match, I went against Galaxy Monsters or Galaxy Dragons or something of that nature. First game, I got in there. Second game, I mean, he had game. I don't know what happened. He had game. He had way over 8,000 damage to me. Like, he could do 8,000 damage to me. He attacked. I special summoned the trap out of the graveyard. He didn't continue his attack. He had another monster that could attack twice, and it was like 2,800. He only attacked once with that monster, and then he had a 24 beater that attacked me, and it allowed me to get another turn, and I won that. The next match was against Pepe because the ban list don't take place, I think, until the 9th or the 12th. I'm not for sure. And I just summoned the Fiend on the field, Vanity Fiend, I believe it was, and just shut down the deck. It was just really, really strong. And the next match after that was Cosmos. It was my most tough match. It was very, very tough. I mean, this guy here was going in. Oh, man, he was going in. He caught me with the fake Baylor. He messed up my plays. He had the Max C's. I was like, oh, man, he was just getting in there. So, first game I won. We sided. He put in the trap card that you cannot tribute. He had that card on the field. He had two other back row. He had, he had Cyber Dragon Infinity on the field. Now, by this time, I had about 30 cards in my deck, and I had maybe like 3 cards in my hand. I couldn't do anything. Couldn't tribute monsters. I couldn't activate effects, and then it hit me. I said, dang, I have 2 Twin Twisters main deck in here. I need to get it. And I was just stalling. I was just digging in through my deck the whole time. I kept drawing. I kept, you know, just milling, just trying to get those Twin Twisters. And, man, I had, like, maybe like 13 cards left in my deck. Oh, man, I still didn't have a Twin Twister. I was still recycling cards, digging. This man was just picking me apart. It was just amazing that he couldn't finish me. Finally, I ripped into a twin twister. I said it. I was bluffing because if I used the twin twister off back, he was just going to negate it with Cyber Dragon Infinity. So I had to get that second twin twister. Digging. Finally got that second twin twister. Oh my goodness. So I played twin twister. Before I even paid cost, the man was like negate. He had this big smile on his face. So I changed my second twin twister. And he was like, oh my God, nice play. He was like, choose your targets. So earlier, he had played me before the tournament. He played my Magic Specters, and he twin twisted me, and he caught that Starlight Roll to the face. A lot of people who twin twisted me catch a Starlight Roll to the face when you're playing my Magic Specters. So I believe that he was bluffing, so he was like, okay, choose your targets. And I was like, man, if he got a Starlight Roll down, he wins this game. Like, he wins it. It's nothing I can do because he's going to negate my twin twister and then there's just going to be a Stardust. I can't do anything. So I was just going to go for the trap card. But I'm like, what if he has another trap card face down that he's just going to play and I still can't tribute? So I was like, you know what? I just got to go all in. I blew up his 2 back row, and at that point moment, I just had game. I was able to come back, win it. We went to top 4, won my match, and top 2, it was him again. And it was just a great match. It was just awesome. And it was a quick 2-0 in that time. I just already knew what he was siding. So I decided that extra twin twister. So I had 3 twin twisters in the deck ready to go in. So with Pepe being gone, will I start main decking the Monarchs and put my spellcasters to the side? That's the big question. I really don't know at the moment. I really like Monarch. I like the whole going undefeated. I went undefeated with Magic Specters, but I felt like Monarch was much stronger than Magic Specters. But the thing about Magic Specters, I feel like they're, to me personally, they're more consistent. Because with Monarch, you have a chance of breaking. And when you brick hard. You brick very hard. Not just that, Effect Bailer is a very strong card. I mean, I'm not used to getting hit with Effect Bailer. I summoned my monster and he was like, Effect Bailer. I'm like, okay, so, Effect. He was like, Effect Bailer to gates. I'm like, oh, that's right, my monster can be targeted. No! So, I don't know, do I like that whole sitting back and getting hit with Effect Bailer and having my monsters being able to be targeted. So, that's one thing. So, I had a buddy, he played Pepe. And he is salty as shit, man. He is just furious. He's upset. He's been complaining ever since Konami came out with the mid ban list, and he's like, I'm quitting Yu-Gi-Oh. He's angry. And I'm like, dude, stop complaining. I understand that he spent a lot of money in Pepe, and I just kind of want to focus on this for a second because I know a lot of people on Facebook are just going in. They're just upset. Why Konami? And here's the thing. I understand about getting hit. I mean, shoot, I played E-Dragons back in the day when it first came out. I was godlike. That was the first time in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! When I became extremely good. I was playing Tier 1 deck. My only competition was another E-Dragon deck or spellbooks at the time. I mean, I joined things like $20 tournaments. It was winning. I wasn't coming top. I was winning $20 tournaments. I was confident. I played through the week. I played Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in tournaments, even when I had school, because I knew I was going to win. And when Konami came along and they just slaughtered, they just genocide dragon rulers or E-Dragons, denial clicked in. I was upset, I was angry, but I did have a little bit of denial, and that denial was I could still play the deck. Maybe I add plants in here, make it consistent. But I came to my senses very, very fast, and I was like, hey, the deck is done, it's time to move on. Yes, I was upset, but then again, I understood that I played a tier 0 deck. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't really fair. It was extremely strong, and I bullied people. I'm not going to lie. When I start winning $20 tournaments and $30 tournaments, yes, I had a chip on my shoulder, and at that moment, I did look down at a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players who wasn't playing top tier. I would crush you, and I would say that. That's something I could say proud, and I did. But I understood that you had to hit this deck to give a lot of other decks a chance to play, and a lot of the new decks a chance to play. the money aspect, I know about spending a lot of money. When Clifford's first came out, I spent a little over $800 building the deck. Now, yes, I bought a lot of this stuff in hype price when it was sneak peek. I wanted to be the first person to play Clifford's, and I did, you know, and it was strong. It was very, very strong. But when Konami hit it, they hit it hard. And I sit back and I was like, well, you know, I'm going to try to make my money back. Maybe I should wait. Konami will take something else off the ban list next time. And once again, they hit it hard again. So I had this $800 deck that I paid for building it, and then I was barely able to sell it for like a little over $100 and something. And now, you know, a Clifford deck is literally worth nothing. And that's just something about Yu-Gi-Oh! I understand if I'm playing tier 1, tier 0, or a top tier deck, or something that can be abused or looped, it has a chance of being affected by the ban list, and I understand that. Now, the second thing is people who hop on the bandwagon late. So he hopped on the bandwagon late. I'm going to be honest with you. Pepe has been out for quite a bit. It's been out for, I think, how many formats now? It's been out for quite a bit. Yes, Pinnable Sorcerer did just get released in Bosch, but you just now hopped on a tier 0 band, you know, a 10-0 deck, you know, this bandwagon, and now you're feeling the ban list. And don't get me wrong, I feel bad for him. Yeah, he did just spend a little over $500 for Pepe, but at the same time, you hopped on it late. You know, if you're going to do something, you might as well hop on it when it first come out. I know a lot of people, they sit back and are like, okay, you know what, let's see what's going to be good, and they wait to see is it going to be good, and then they hop on it. But in my personal opinion, if you think it's good, if you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a while, you really want to play the deck, don't sit back and wait to see what's tier 0 and tier 1. Go ahead and build the deck before a lot of the stuff goes up. Because yes, sometimes sneak peek prices are extremely expensive, and then it goes down. But sometimes if that deck goes to tier 0, a lot of those cards will even go higher than the hype price originally. So, you know, I feel a little bad about them, but, you know, if you can't take a ban list, you know, it might be better for you to quit. That's just how I feel. So, after that little rant, let's go ahead and hop into this deck profile. So, with this Monarch build, it's quite simple, pretty similar to a lot of the other builds probably. So, first thing first, we have 3 of the Heavenly Monarch. So, basically what this card does is, when this card is tribute summoned, you can send 2 Spell and Trap Monarch cards from your deck to special summon another Monarch from your deck to the field, and at the end phase, that Monarch goes back to your hand. But the great thing about this card is you can do it on your opponent's main phase, and I love that. You know, you can banish a card out of your graveyard, normal summon him on your opponent's main phase, send 2 Spell and Trap cards, Monarch Spell and Trap cards, and special summon. I love that because if your opponent targets one of your Monarchs, you can sack it, bring this puppy out, and not just that, you can tribute summon this with 1 tribute if you already have a tribute summon monster on the field. Basically, a lot of times if I'm bricking and I really need some cards in the graveyard, I'm going to summon this guy, you know, use his effect to get those cards in the graveyard. Very, very great card. Alright, so now we have the Underworld Monarch, and we're running 3 of this guy. He is definitely a beater. He just looks so badass, to be honest with you. And basically what this card is, you can, once again, send 2 Spell and Trap Monarch cards from your deck, and you can shuffle 1 card on the field back into the deck, or shuffle 1 random card in your opponent's hand back into the deck. Very, very, very strong. Oh man, this card here is very great. And not just that, it doesn't target. I didn't know that at first. At first I thought it targeted, and it doesn't. You just choose 1, shuffle it back into the deck. Very, very strong. And not just that, if it's in the graveyard, you can get it back by sending a Monarch card from your hand to the graveyard and adding it back to your hand. So it's really, really good. I don't use him often, but if I'm trying to like get in my opponent's hand, I use him quite a bit. But I don't use him often. Alright, so we have Caius the Mega Monarch. I'm going to be honest, at first I wasn't running this guy. A lot of people were like, hey, you need to put him in the deck. He's really, really good. Come on, man. Like, don't be dumb. So I went on ahead and I tried him in the deck, and I loved him. So basically, you tribute, you can banish 1 card on the field, and your opponent takes 1,000. And if you tribute a dark monster, you can target up to 2 cards. Oh man, I love that. I love that. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I can use the field card, make them a level 6, tribute a dark monster, or tribute one of my opponent's dark monsters, get them on the field. You know, it's great. And not just that, it has a little bit of burn to them. And one of the best Monarchs I got to say is Thessalios. I believe that's how you pronounce him. He is awesome. I had so many of these Monarchs sitting in my book. They was like $1. And once the Monarch Hype Train came, I looked at them again. They were like $10. I was like, oh, yes. So I made a lot of money with just the extra Monarch crap I had in my book. And the only reason I still had this one, because I was like, maybe I could build Monarchs in the future. So I just hold on to that one card, and there you go. It went to the deck. So basically what this card does is, when it's tribute summoned, you can look in your opponent's hand, and that is great. And you can choose one card and send it to the graveyard. And if it's a monster, your opponent takes 200 for each level it has. So that is great, because you get a burn damage, but not just that, you get to look at your opponent's hand. So if my opponent forces me to go first, and I have this in my hand, I really can mess up some plays. Or my opponent has like maybe 1 or 2 cards in the hand, I'm going in there and I'm going to look at it. Like the Cosmos player I was going against this weekend, he had 2 cards in hand, he added 1, I summoned him, I went ahead and sent that puppy to the graveyard because I didn't want to deal with it. Now we have 2 Majesty Fiends. Basically, your opponent and you cannot activate effects. This monster effects, period. Very, very strong card for decks like that wants to activate effects. So like things like Burning Abyss, or a lot of things that just have a lot of random effects. One guy attempt to effect Baylor one over the tournament. You know, you were like, effect Baylor? And I was like, huh? Like, what? You can't affect Baylor Majesty Fiend. Like, what are you doing? And not just that, a good thing about this one is you can use the Monarch spell and trap cards with this guy because it's 2400 attack and 1000 defense. That's one of the requirements. So very, very great monster. We're running 2 Vanity Fiends. Now, the only bad thing about him is he's 1200 defense. If he had 1000 defense, he would be able to be searched with the Monarch search spell card. But this card here is definitely sometimes a win condition. You get them on the field, you just sit on them, and you have everything else to protect them. It's nothing your opponent can do because they can't special summon. It is a very, very strong card in this format. And this is a big thing that I used against Pepe over the weekend. So he's really, really good. And now we're going to talk about some of the smaller characters here. We got the Heavenly Squire. So when he is when he's normal summon or special summon, you can special summon a other monster with 800 attack and defense from your deck to the field. Very, very good. But when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can get one of your banished Monarch cards back. This card really makes the deck consistent. Really, really makes the deck consistent. I mean, it really speeds the deck up. And as long as I have this card, I can definitely recycle a lot of my Monarch spell and trap cards. And we have the Underworld Squire. Really, really good. When he's normal summon or special summon, you can get a extra tribute summon with him. Not just that, if he's in the graveyard, you can banish him, the special summon, a 800 attack and 1000 defense monster. So usually you will banish him out the graveyard, special summon him, and his effect could go off. So really, really, really good. I love that little combo there. And we're running one of the Rock Vessel. Very good because he books your opponent monster and he special summons to the field. Now, I originally had him at 2, but I took one out to make room for other stuff. And I love this. You know, there's some monsters that your opponent has a lot of different types of negations and things of that nature. Like my opponent might have a Cyber Dragon Affinity on the field. Well, guess what? You're just going to bait it out with someone like him. You know, because if you like, hey, I'm going to special summon, they're going to negate this guy, you know. So he's really, really good. And not just that, if you don't have anything else to get your Monarchs out, you can book one of your opponent monsters, special summon this guy, and now you can use him at Tribute Father. So now to the spell and trap cards. We have 3 Pantheism. I'm probably pronouncing that extremely wrong. But this card is great because you can discard a Monarch card and you draw 2 cards and you can banish this card from the graveyard, reveal 3 Monarch cards, and your opponent picks 1 and it goes to your hand. I really feel like this card is very, very strong. It really speeds the deck up. But not just that. I feel that you can reveal 3 it is not like you have to reveal 3 different ones. You can reveal 3 of the same ones. That's just ridiculous. And that's great. I'm not gonna lie, I love that, but I do somewhat feel like it's unfair because you can just reveal the same things, you know, and your opponent has no choice but to pick which one you want. So a lot of times I recycle this card by, you know, banishing it and getting it back with one of my squires. We got 3 Stormforce. Great card. Basically what you're going to do, you play it, tribute your opponent's monsters. There's really nothing else to say about it, and it's a quick play, so you can play it on your opponent's turn. We're running 3 of this card. This card is great. I love it for the simple reason you reveal a Monarch card, or not really a Monarch card. You can reveal a 2400 attack, 1000, or a 2800 attack, 1000 defense, and search for any Monarch card, spell or trap card in your deck. Very, very strong. I love it. And then we have 2 of the Monarch field cards. This card here is sometimes a win condition. So it has quite a few effects on it. Basically, one of the effects is that you can make one of your level 8s a level 6, so that's 1 tribute. Not just that, when a tribute summon monster is attack, it gains 800 attack during the damage cow. So that's strong, period. It makes your monarchs and your other tribute monsters a grower. And not just that, when you have a tribute summon monster on the field, your opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck. Neither players can special summon from the extra deck. So you have this puppy up there, your opponent's like, really? Really? So it's really, really good. I love this. I love this card here. So we have 2 March of the Monarchs. A lot of people said they're not running this. A buddy of mine was just complaining, was like, yo, this is a bad card. You should take it out. I'm like, no, it's too good. I mean, first thing first, Regeki is real. There's a lot of cards out there that my opponent can target my monsters. I like this because it protects my tribute summon monsters. And not just that, if I don't need it, I can always discard it to the graveyard with one of my other Monarchs cards. And it's just a great card, period. Because if I have this on the field in the Fantasy Fiend, Master Z Fiend or something like that, you have to go for this card first before you can go for my tribute summon monster. So that's good. You know, it makes my opponent work. We have 1 Return of the Monarchs. Really, really good card. Allow you to search your deck for a 2400 attack Monarch or 2800 attack Monarch. Mostly I'm going to get a 2800. Or you can search Master Z Fiend with this. And now we have 2 Twin Twisters. Yes, this card here puts in work, hands down. I mean, a lot of people want to sit back on that back row. Well, guess what? Let's Twin Twister that. Let's go ahead and get that out of there. We're running 1 Foolish. We'll send a Squire. Sometimes I really need something, so we'll send a Squire and get like a banished card back to my hand. Then we're running 1 for 1. Basically, that's to get that Squire out so he can get that extra special summon so we can get our tributes going. Now, I'm not running Rhoda. I just don't feel that I really need Squire to my hand that bad. I can always discard them to the graveyard some type of way or special summon them. I do not need to search the deck for Squire. And now for the traps. We're running 2 of these traps. Great card. Not just that. I mean, it has a big butt. 2400 defense. It's just strong. And not just that, you special summon it from the graveyard. Now, when you have it in your face down in your back row, you can flip it, recycle your Monarch spell and trap cards. I love that. That's the main reason I didn't deck out when I was going against the Cosmos player. I kept recycling my cards, and you draw a card. So it speeds the deck up just a little bit more. And finally, we have 1 of the tribute on your opponent's turn Monarch trap card. It's okay. Sometimes I use it, but I don't use it often. It's just kind of there. It's a good card, but it really haven't brought me some success. It really have brought me a lot of good success. Now, finally, we're going to talk about the side deck. Yes, the side deck. So my side deck is not complete, and the main reason is when all this Monarch hype happened, I sold my Frog Kings, and the main reason I wasn't expecting actually to build Monarchs at first. So we have 3 intercepts, and I I gotta talk a little bit about intercepts because I had the ruling wrong on it. So let's go ahead and talk about the rulings on intercepts. So when your opponent tributes summon a monster, your opponent still gets their monster's effect, and then you get the monster. I had to call a judge on it because I thought that it affects the summon, so you get the monster and then you get their effect. But no, your opponent actually gets the effect. So it doesn't really matter at all. It just, your opponent gets the effect, and there's really nothing you can do about it. That really sucks. I really hated that. So I went to YuGiOh Wiki to try to make sure that was the correct ruling, and yeah, it was that ruling. So unfortunately, your opponent still get the effect, but you get the monster. So what I like about this is that it forces your opponent to make some really big decisions. Your opponent might want to blow up their own monster or banish their own monster because you're getting ready to get their monster on your side of the field. You know, they do all that work, you're about to take it. And you keep it. So this is a great card. We're running 3 force backs. You pay nothing for this. You know, I see people citing things like warning. I'm like, I don't care for warning. Force backs is strong when you're going against Monarchs. I mean, a lot of people is going to be hopping on the Monarch train. And the main reason is Monarchs are very cheap to make, and they're good. They're high tier. So with force backs, guess what? Put it back in your hand. You know, you did all that. Put it back in your hand. I pay nothing. I don't discard a card. I don't have to skip my turn or anything of that nature. It just forces it back. We're running 3 Colosseums. And the main reason is we're trying to get like a Monarch on the field, and we'll force my opponent to only have 1 monster. And right now, I'm just kind of experimenting. Like, everything else is really just experiments right now. We have 1 more of this card here, the March of the Monarchs. And mainly, just in case I go against a deck that's really targeting my Monarchs and keep blowing them up or something, they need a little extra defense. We have 1 more to field card, just in case I'll go against someone who loves to play in the extra deck, and I need that extra card really, definitely. I'm just desperate for that extra card. We're running 1 more of the trap card, just in case my opponent is beating me down a lot. For example, when I was going against Cosmos, because Cosmos can beat me down really fast. And not just that, I burned through my deck really fast with Cosmos. I mean, going against Cosmos, I needed that extra card to definitely special summon out of the graveyard and to shuffle a lot of cards back from my graveyard back to my deck. We have 1 of the Earth Monarch. Once again, it's just another experiment. Not Earth Monarch, but the Rock Vessel, just another experiment. And finally, we have lose 1 turn. And that's basically the side deck to, you know, go when you're going to like game 2 or something of that nature. So overall, what I feel about Monarchs, I feel that they're strong. I feel that they're strong. They're pretty consistent. The only thing I don't like about Monarchs is you have a very high chance of bricking. And that to me is a very big turnoff. I don't like the idea that I can brick and just can't do anything. I don't like the idea that this deck could lose to Valor. And I just don't like Valor. I'm gonna be honest with you. Summoning your vessel, your heavenly vessel, and getting Valor, that sucks. But overall, I feel like the deck is very consistent. It's very powerful, and I can see why it's top tier, and I feel like it's going to do something really big in this format. But that's all I have for you today with this deck profile. Please like, rate, and comment. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching. Matane.